The reason for the stalking is not because you have a group of idiots that just simply want to harass. It's because you have a entire criminal network, a cult, a coven. We get, tired of saying these words, but the reality is these groups and these individuals, they don't just do things just for the fun of it. Everything is tied to money, a payout, energy, wanting to get in and belong to something that's bigger than themselves. A whole network that certain individuals within your family and community want to be initiated into, right? A larger groups within groups. I made a video about this. You have certain individuals that already joined certain fraternities and sororities. And then within those fraternities and sororities, because of them being able to weasel their way into certain positions in society and have certain titles and accolades, etc. They click up and band together, right, to have this self-importance about themselves that's greater than reality, right, of them being so important and thinking of themselves so highly, right, this sense of self-importance. And you have all of these individuals that want to be worshiped and want to be honored and respected, who haven't earned the right to have all of these, you know, um, the right to be honored in a way that in their mind they want to be honored, right? But when these groups first get into these certain institutions or organizations or religious organizations and fraternal and sorority organizations, and then from there it goes much deeper and much further. You have other groups that have resources and go deeper into the dark arts or dark practices. And this is where the energy harvesting, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking comes into play, right? Because on the surface, you got what appears to be normal citizens living a normal life, right? But they belong to these fraternities. That's the first step behind the veil, behind the curtain, right? What is not seen. And then they have their certain practices and things that they perform in their meetings, etc. And then they dabble into certain dark arts. But then there are other organizations that are bigger, with more membership, that spread further abroad, city to city, state to state, worldwide, etc., that got bigger resources, and they go deeper into the dark arts and the dark practices, where this is where you know individuals are recruited and want to be initiated if they are able to sacrifice certain family members, if they are able to throw certain people under the bus. I can't really say under the blood, um, which that they end up signing, in blood. And one of the reasons why they want to win at all costs, because not reading that fine print, that all that they are given in whatever time period that they're allowed to enjoy the ride. That fine print says that eventually somebody's going to come collecting. And this is where the unhinged, drunk with power and drunk with the materialism, wanting to come up at all costs, no logic or reasoning, no common sense, all of that goes out of the window in order for them to get ahead or get themselves out of a tight spot, you know. And when these sinister groups and organizations, my voice is just changing like that. And when these sinister groups and organizations come on the scene and these charming liars and smiling devils present themselves, then all of a sudden, instead of giving it thought, they end up getting caught up into something that's way over their head. Is it related to unhealed wounds? Is it related to, wanting to be a part of something bigger than yourself? Yes, because they look for a specific quality of person, the quality of person, those who are, for lack of a better term, not putting anybody down, but weak-minded, those who have something that you can hold over their head or blackmail, those who have been abused and misused, and many of us have been mistreated and ill-treated and gone through trials and tribulations, but they look for the ones who are really broken and misguided, those who have a lack of direction, right? And those are the ones, and also people who are, have grave addictions that, you know, cause a lot of the weaknesses, right? Because if you're addicted to something, that's a weakness in of itself, because it pulls you in a particular direction because of the cravings and the desire, right? To have um, and be lured to whatever that addiction is, to be controlled by it. And so there's a certain quality of persons that these groups, sinister, corrupt networks, and criminal organizations go after. And a lot of these people, from experience, you have a lot of individuals in your family who battled addictions or battled, um, certain tribulations in their life, and they found themselves in tight spots. And a lot of these people are picked or scouted to become a part of these groups, right? Overall, everybody wants to be accepted and loved and be a part of something where they can feel they can contribute and, be respected and honored and acknowledged, for whatever good qualities or whatever they can contribute. You have dark and light, good and bad, and unfortunately you have these groups that you have these individuals who will sell their soul to be a part of these organizations, and whatever is asked and needed of them, they will participate. So the reason for the stalking is not just to harass and create hardships, though that's a part of it. The reason is because those of you, okay, you have to look at it from two sides. This is a spiritual war, a spiritual battle. And it's coming to the surface on what all of this is for, what all of this is about, the wars, the criminal networks and organizations. It's all being driven by principalities and energies and forces. Everything is first created and materialized in the spirit realm, in the ethers, before it materializes, rather, in the physical. Everything has a counterpart in the ethers or in the spiritual before it materializes into the physical. Doesn't matter if it's a planet, a rock, a star. Everything materializes or is materialized from the spirit world first before it comes into any physical form. And so what we are witnessing is these energies manipulating and using, right? And you have two sides, and you have individuals who have potential to become a part of the chosen, to get on their soul's path, their higher calling. But either they are lured because of unhealed issues, beguiled or tricked, love bombed, gaslit, and they end up on the other side. And normally, you'll never hear them say, I apologize, I messed up, I feel stuck, I need assistance of getting out of here. Normally, when they get on that side, it is very difficult for them to get off of that side because of all the underhanded tactics and tricks and games, plots and schemes that these devils put into luring and entrapping and enticing individuals. They know once they get them over there, the fact that they made the wrong choice in the first place, that's all they need. But they've already set up getting them into bad contracts, getting them pregnant, entrapping them, keeping them in a mental fog, keeping them under a binding spell, slipping stuff in their food and they drink. They've already orchestrated, right? They have all of these underhanded tactics that they utilize. The main thing for those devils is to get them to agree, to consent, to acquiesce their soul and come on, walk down that dark alley, that dark pathway. That's the main thing, is to get them not to consider, to using their common sense, weighing the scales, in asking themselves, is this the right opportunity for me? Is this where I belong? Should I join this group, or should I go down this dark alley? Should I go down this path? Should I accept this contract? Should I get involved with this person? Should I accept this person into my life? Should I accept this particular person into my family? Should I give this person the time of day? Is this the direction that I am supposed to be led in or down? Most of the time, those who are potentially chosen ignore all of these questions, right? Ignore all of these signs, and they end up being tricked and lured down these paths with these individuals who lure them. They can only present the shining carrot, the dangling carrot, right? It's up to you, for whatever reasons, in your mind, in your subconscious, in your heart, or your failure, to really focus or ask yourself, is this where I belong? Is this where I'm supposed to go? Is this where I'm supposed to be? If all it takes is for somebody to make empty promises, present you with illusions, tell you that they can help you get ahead in life, or they have all the connections. If all it takes is a performance, bad acting or great acting to you, if all it takes is some type of performance, some type of promise of a payout, a better lifestyle, if that's all it takes, without you having checks and balances in place naturally, without you, going within and asking yourself, is this truly where I belong? Is this the best opportunity for me? If that's all it takes is for somebody to jump in front of you, well dressed, and there's nothing wrong with dressing nice, smelling good, and there's nothing wrong with smelling good, looking all put together, nothing wrong with that. But we understand you can't judge a book by its cover, because those are also tactics that are used to entice you, to beguile you, to trick you. What looks good, what looks presentable, what looks shiny, right? And so when you ignore your own intuition, when you ignore your own discernment, let alone your main backup and generator, which is your spirit team, your spirit guides, your beloved angels, your beloved ancestors, not the ones who dislike you, not the low vibrational ancestors who want to keep you bound and stuck and going the wrong way, the ones who honor you, the ones who respect you, the one who war for you and fight for you and impart their spiritual gifts onto you, pass their spiritual gifts down to you, and the ones who present you with their spiritual hugs and support and inspiration and motivation to keep going, to stay on track, to stay on path, your divine calling, your soul's purpose, your higher calling. Those beloved ancestors we communicate with, we reach out to, we ask for their assistance and their guidance in life, throughout life journey. So that backup generator, that main generator rather, if we ignore our own intuition and then we ignore them, then we find ourselves having no footing, no grounds to where we can balance our emotions, our decisions, and we just allow the winds of life, the tugs and the pulls, we allow ourselves to be pulled in whatever direction comes our way. If the wind blow here, we find ourselves over here. If the wind blow that way, we find ourselves over that way. If the wind blow backwards, we find ourselves right back where we started out. But once these groups come, and this is why it's important to know where you stand and to make a decision and be decisive, so the winds of life don't just blow you in whatever direction, right? That when the winds and the turbulence get shaky and they increase, that you have a strong footing, a strong foundation, that you are unshakable. You have unwavering, unshakable faith, and you can't be blown and moved and tossed around in the wind. That you are able to stand firm and strong in your footing, in your connection with the divine. But people want to practice a little bit of this and a little bit of that and do a little bit of this and have one foot in and one foot out. They want the blessings and the protection and the healing and the guidance of being a chosen one, of the light, of the divine. But they want the adventure and what appears to be a good time and fun of those wicked and evil seeds who lack the discipline, the courage, the wisdom, the divine blueprint, the divine guidance, the, the ability to create abundance naturally. For all the talk and the illusion of it's a good time and a better time over there, the interesting thing is they cannot create abundance. They cannot create prosperity. They cannot create anything of good value and good nature. They always have to take it, steal it, drain it, siphon it, harvest it off of those who hold special energy or those who are of the light. This is why, for all the talk of them being the place to be, the group to belong to, nobody else fit in with them, and they're the ones that everybody should want to bow down to and kowtow to. They still need you. They still stalk you. They still follow you around. If they're so great and it's so adventurous and it's such a good time being a part of these sellouts and these clowns, then why do they have to stalk you, who's supposed to be the square one, the weird one, the black sheep, the one that don't fit in, that say, fine, if I don't fit in, great. I'll go over here in this direction. I'll live my life. I'll mind my business. I won't bother anybody. And yet you have a whole criminal network, a sinister group, a dark cult and coven into demonic practices that stalk and find who they consider the square one. They won't leave the square one alone. They won't stop following the square one. They won't stop competing, lying, defaming, slandering, making up all type of lies throughout the community about the square one that's minding their business, not bothering anybody. But yet, a whole group of sellouts and idiots, clowns, weak-minded individuals who sold their soul for chump change to fit in, to belong to something that they feel is bigger than them, continuously find themselves attracted to, desiring the attention, the company, and the energy of the one that they say don't fit in, the one they say is weird, the one they say dress funny, the one they say look funny, the one they say act funny. They still desire the attention and the energy of the one they say don't belong. Why is that? How is that? Could it be that the one that don't belong holds special energy? Could it be the one who is square and weird holds divine favor and a divine blueprint, and their life is rightly, divinely guided? Could it be that the energy they hold is unlike any energy that this dark cult and coven criminal network has ever come across? And they are thirsty like vultures and vampires, energetic vampires, and they just need that special energy. So the stalking is not just because, they want to be assholes. The stalking is because they have their cronies and minions, flunkies and sellouts, to use the devices, the frequencies, energy weapons, to lower the vibration of the ones who they target, to make it easier for them to perform the rituals and the spell works from a distance or in a close vicinity, because they have to be in close proximity in order to use these devices and frequencies and energy weapons. You'll find wherever the target is, it's, it's not hard if you have honorable law enforcement, honorable agents, federal agents, etc., investigators that really want to get to the bottom line of these sinister criminal networks that's tied into human trafficking. At the end of the day, to crack this case open and to find out who's participating is not difficult, because whoever the so-called targeted individual is and wherever that person goes, they have their flunkies and minions and cronies, sellouts, weak-minded individuals right behind them, close in the same vicinity, close proximity. I made a few videos where I gave examples, and I spoke on, after coming out of isolation and being able to, check back into motels after coming off the road, etc., how they'll have the same sellouts, clowns, follow and check in next door, downstairs, and above their head. Let's say if they're on the middle floor, second floor, and you have a first floor and you have several floors above, they'll have their flying monkeys, cronies, and sellouts check in all around in the same motel. And then you'll hear them bring in certain equipment. You'll hear the footsteps above you back and forth. You'll hear abnormal activity. Every time you get up to use the restroom, these clowns will get up and you can hear their footsteps standing over your head. When you go to take a shower, these clowns will jump up and you'll hear them standing in the bathtub too, just standing there like weirdos. You go use the bathroom, you hear the footsteps get up, and they get up too, and they go in there too like a bunch of goddamn clowns and weirdos, right? And no, it's not in your head. It's something that these weirdos actually practice. They actually do. And one of the reasons they're doing it is because they're trying to study your pattern, study your behavior. When you fall asleep, when you eat, there's a connection to, this group wanting to know when you eat, what you eat, because there's rituals being performed to force a cord, an energetic cord. And there's something related to, your eating practices too. That also ties into your natal chart or your birth chart, depending on what they believe your shadow holds or your addictions are. If you're an emotional eater or something like that, they try to find out whatever your weaknesses or your addictions are, or they think or believe it is, right? So they can craft and design a ritual around that. So they can send an entity attachment to be able to attach to you. Now, the reasons why the abnormal behavior of them standing over you and hiding behind walls, right? The motel example. And you hearing the footsteps every time you get up, they get up. Every time you move, they move. Wherever your bed is, they set up the equipment beneath you and above you, whatever, to be able to pump them frequencies into your room to lower your vibration. So now, those of you who are star seeds, earth angels, crystal children, golden children, chosen ones of the light, more than likely, you have your spiritual practices, and as empaths, etc., you have to perform your spiritual cleanses. These devils know that as well. So these devils, sellouts and clowns, will come stand over you and invade, disrupt, and disturb your sacred practices, your spiritual practices. Ooh, the audacity, the nerve. Wow. To interfere. Anybody in a right mind who know, that's the one thing you don't do. Anybody who know about sacred space and sacred practice and sacred ritual and the ability to connect with the divine and to have your intimate space violated is one of the ultimate violations, right? With ill intentions. There are those who know on the continent of Africa, many rituals, a magical place, right? Many rituals are performed. The elders, usually when they perform their rituals, go to the far reaches, away from town, the village, away from prying eyes, eavesdroppers. The reason why that's done, not so much because they are trying to be secretive or they are trying to hide. It's really for the protection of those who have no right and no business sticking their nose into other people's spiritual practices. What happens when people start hiding behind trees and hiding behind bushes and following elders and those shaman and magical people, and they stick their nose into things that don't concern them, that don't belong? They are not just violating the people that they are watching and scouting and being nosy to. They are violating the spirit realm. What happens? That's a violation. So what happens is many of those people who have done that end up going blind, end up going insane instantly for their disrespect, disregard of personal space and boundaries, of disrespecting the sanctity and the solitude of one's prayer and meditation, of one's spiritual practices and connecting with the divine, and violating their rituals and ceremonies. The spirit world and the ancestors see everything, everything, and they see all of them. They become marked. Why do you think now these idiots and clowns and sellouts are panicking? Because of all the evil practices that they paid for and put out into the stratosphere, into the universe, into the environment. They've done some wicked and evil magic, ill intentions to the highest degree. And if these paid or commissioned intentions don't hit the desired target, where do you think that energy and those intentions are going to end up and land? You have an entire group that's panicking right now because they can feel something is on the way. Something is already here. It's not on the way, it's already here. But it hasn't even fully implemented or kicked in yet. And you have a whole group that's panicking for what they participated in, what they took part in, what they've done to innocent people, people who did not deserve for them to interfere in their love life, interfere with their abilities to support themselves or take care of themselves financially, lie on their name, character assassinate them, defame them throughout the community, make it hard for them to get employment, make it hard for them to have a career, interfere with their health and try to lower their vibration and interfere with their health, slip stuff in their food, tamper with their food, send their delivery drivers to put stuff in their food, or people in the kitchens in the shelter slip stuff in their food, poisoning them. And then they stand back and watch. And then when that person wake up the next day, they're like, oh my God. Everything that they've done has to be accounted for. Everything they participated in has to be accounted for. Everything, every lie, every piece of mail they stole, every time they hacked devices, every time they ran ahead of a person and got another person to rush into a relationship with them and interfered in a divine union, every time they tricked a person off of their divine path, every time they stalked and followed a chosen one into a motel and their flunkies and minions checked in above them and sneak in and out every day and every night and bring in certain equipment and use certain frequencies and try to force a connection to their root chakra or sacral chakra, or to, force their way into their third eye or their crown chakra so they can steal their dreams and their visions and their downloads and their creativity. This is what these idiots and devils do. They sneak around, but they try to do it inconspicuous, underhandedly. They try to do it in a way where they're not being seen, where it's under the table and everything looks normal. And if you so happen to speak about it, then you come across as cuckoo and crazy. No, ladies and gentlemen, you're not crazy. This shit is taking place in real time every day. This is a spiritual war, a spiritual battle. And you have those who sold their soul to the head fallen angel. You have those who think it's a venture, think it's funny to participate in these type of activities. But they themselves cannot handle the energy once it begins to return. They themselves cower like the cowards they are, hiding in plain sight. They themselves cower when that energy begins to return back unto them 1,000-fold for what they participated in. They themselves participate thinking it's a good time and adventure, sneaking around, tippy-toeing, eavesdropping, ear hustling, using frequencies and, doing the things that they're doing behind the scenes like they're not being seen. But as they are placing generational curses on themselves and their bloodline, that part they didn't account for. That part they didn't see coming. The backfires that hit the people they love. The backfires that end up attaching itself to the people around them that they claim that they love. When these backfires happen, then they want to get mad and blame the so-called targeted person that was minding their business in the first place. It must be the targeted person's fault. It must be the victim's fault. They must have did something. They go around lying saying, oh, that person is a witch. That person is evil. That person is sending us witchcraft. These idiots go around lying, saying stuff like that. They don't say, well, we attacked that person first. We paid for death magic, poverty spells, sickness spells. We did all type of evil, atrocious, cowardly, evil deeds to that person first. They never mention that. Now, is it the victim's fault that they have angels and ancestors in the spirit world that don't play that bullshit? And they say, no, thank you. We're not going to allow this to interfere with our loved one. Here, you can have this shit back. Matter of fact, let's add a little bit more onto it. No, matter of fact, let's add a lot more onto this shit and give it right back to your dumb ass. But they will have you think that the targeted individual, the so-called victim, is the problem. When you have a whole criminal network of sellouts and clowns who don't want to put the work in to heal, to become the best versions of themselves. They'll sell their own mother out for chump change. They'll sell their family members out, their ex-lovers out for chump change, just so they can fit in and be a part of a group that's bigger than them. Just so they can go on vacation and participate in sex retreats where they can have orgies and all pass each other around and all sleep with each other and make connections with sister wives. Just so they can be able to have real estate and steal somebody else's house and real estate and farmland. Just so they can be able to purchase the newest purse and red bottoms. These dummies and idiots, these clowns and sellouts want to belong to a group like that. So the reason that they stalk and the reason that they follow the so-called targeted individual is precisely to be able to isolate them, to prevent them from entering into new unions, divine unions, and getting with their person and getting with somebody who will honor them, respect them, communicate with them, won't be afraid to actually communicate in a timely manner, timely fashion. Not somebody who's going to play games and hold out and hold back and breadcrumb and gaslight and love bomb. And then once they realize they went the wrong way by taking a bribe to set somebody else up, now it's like they got to keep breadcrumbing and love bombing and coming up with new ways of trying to force a connection in the court. They think their acting skills is that great. Their aspirations of being an actor or actress, they want to put it to use now. It didn't get them the role, but now, they wanted to put it to use now when it comes to the divine. They ain't get the devil didn't give them the role when they was trying to put them skills to the use within a corrupt industry that forces you to sell your soul in order to get a role. The devil rejected them then, but now when they feel like they failed and had to back up from that industry, now they want to put them skills to use against a chosen one in the divine. Now, now, now they want to, do their best performance. That's the wrong time, ain't it? That's backwards, ain't it? You're supposed to have the courage to stand up and say, nah, I ain't going to participate in this. I'm not going to violate the divine, the most high, the ancient overseers, the archangels and Elohim, the beloved ancestors. I'm not going to participate in this atrocious, cowardly, evil deeds. Nah, I stand for something. I don't want to be counted amongst those who are under judgment. Right now, under judgment. We didn't win the war. We didn't lose the war, but we are here to finish the war. I don't want to be counted with those who don't have the protection of the divine. I don't want to be amongst these cowards, clowns, and thieves because there is no honor amongst thieves. None. All of these devils that's popping champagne and partying and sneaking around like cowards, smiling in each other's face, none of them truly love each other. None of them truly respect each other. Most of them don't even know each other. They just want to fit in. They just want to be a part of something. They just want to go on an adventure and have a good time. They just want some chump change in their pocket. They just want to be able to buy some fast food and be able to buy some shoes and be able to say they belong to something. Do you really want to be standing with them when the meteorite shower come? Do you really want to be standing with them when only a select few have the guidance, the blueprints to get themselves to safety? And everybody else is scurrying and worrying and wondering what they're going to do next and what's going to happen next. Do you really want to be amongst them? When these beings that look at the mortals on this planet, the way the mortals on this planet look at beef and chicken, when they arrive or when they are given the green light or the approval to be unleashed and unhinged the way that these devils was unhinged, stalking and harassing. The interesting thing is the head fallen angels and all um, descriptions that was given about the character and the nature. Even he knew that he had to get permission from the divine, from the Most High, before he attacked or tested a chosen one, an earth angel, a star seed, an anointed one. Even he knew he had to get permission. Yet, all of these flunkies and minions and sellouts and idiots think it was a good time, a great adventure to attack spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, interfere, intervene, get in the way, block blessings, destiny swap, steal content, copycat, mimic, create hardships, orchestrate accidents, take people out of their employment, place of employment, slander their name, gossip, commit mail fraud, steal their mail, have their people on the inside steal their mail, to block communication, hack their devices, divert their emails, delete their emails, use their people on the inside at these platforms and social media, delete their pictures, delete information, make it hard for them to upload their content, shadow ban them, play with the numbers. Even the head fallen angel knew he had to get permission, but these idiots, they went full steam ahead. No holds bar. We're going to have a great time because at the end of this, we're going to get a lot of money that don't belong to us. We're going to steal a lot of money. We got our corrupt buddies in the court system, corrupt clerks and magistrate judges, law firms, attorneys. We're going to unlawfully change documentation. We're going to withhold information. We're going to commit mail fraud. We're going to stalk and harass and lower the vibration. We're going to try to drive this person insane. And then we're going to go around lying because we're so confident that we're going to drive this person insane. We're going to go around saying that this person is crazy and schizophrenic. Then we're going to get our corrupt medical professionals to assist us and lie and leak HIPAA information and give misdiagnosis in the first place and say, yeah, this person is schizophrenic and crazy. Yeah, that sounds good. You say people stalking? Yeah, that sounds crazy. That great. Let me put down and crazy. And I say, well, let me tell you something. When the truth is revealed, when the truth come out, when you finally get some agents with a spine, with a backbone that actually investigate and are honorable and separate themselves from the criminal law enforcement and those who are participating in a part of these sinister, corrupt groups, when the truth actually come out, or if no law enforcement do their job, the spirit world is going to handle it and take over and provide spiritual justice, which is what we see happening now, placing a fire under those who violated their oath of office, ensuring that they receive the same karmic debt for not honoring their oath of office, for not doing their job, for turning a blind eye to the suffering of those who did not deserve it, of innocent souls, people living their life. When they receive the same karmic debt that these other criminals and idiots receive, they'll understand why. What are they there for? Just to collect a pension? Just to be able to party on the weekend? Recruit some young people so they can have the club at the department now? Recruit some young, tantalizing, you know, different flavors so they could keep working long hours. They don't have to worry about missing out or being able to go to the club. They could keep working the long hours, racking up the overtime, and had a club at the station and at the department now. Y'all don't see it, but spiritual law, spiritual justice will ensue when man-made law and when you have sinister organizations and sellouts refuse to do their job, refuse to honor their oath of office. The divine is not going to allow their loved ones to suffer in vain for all of the efforts and hard work that they put in to heal themselves and others, to raise themselves up to a higher standard, a higher degree, and to prove not only to themselves but to the divine that they are willing to walk this straight and narrow path. The divine is not going to allow them to continuously struggle and suffer just to keep proving the same thing they already proved, just to keep showing the same thing they already showed and displayed. The divine is going to keep their word and their promise. The divine is not going to wait indefinitely to bless their loved ones. They're not going to wait indefinitely to bless their loved ones. They're going to keep their word and their promise and do what they say they're going to do, which is to protect and yield the gifts, the rewards, and the promises that they promised their loved ones for putting in the work, the effort, and the discipline. And they're not going to wait forever at their expense so these idiots could keep doing whatever they feel like doing. Blocking ascensions, stopping ascensions, breadcrumbing and gaslighting and pulling people off their divine path when their loved one also has work to do and needs to get started immediately. The divine is going to bless and show up immediately. So I just wanted to put that out there. Share that with y'all. That's the reason why they follow these individuals everywhere they go. They say they square, but yet they stay attached to them. Exes, family members, people that's trying to hold on to what they stole. People that's trying to hold on to this energy to create good fortune and good luck and blessings in their life that show up in their life by harvesting energy, dark practices, rituals. This is why they go everywhere this person go, trying to hold on to them. They don't want them to be free to live their life. These dummies and idiots, these arrogant fools believe that they possess and own a person and their energy. They don't respect and honor and love the person, the vessel. They love and are drunk with the energy that comes from this vessel. They don't want to honor the vessel, but they are drunk with the energy that comes from this person. They don't want to respect the person, but they want the energy that comes from the person. So they have technology, frequencies to tap into a person's sacral chakra, root chakra, heart chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra, and extract the energy to create wealth and abundance and prosperity and Range Rovers, mansions, defeat court cases, win court cases, turn court cases around, paperwork laws, people changing paperwork, you losing or misplacing, etc. This is what's going on, y'all. Whether you accept it or not, whether you believe it or not, you'll be one of the ones who find out after it's far too late, if that's your choice.